What's good, NBA family? Welcome back to another episode. Today is Thursday, July 11th, and we are in the midst of NBA free agency. We are in the midst of NBA offseason. So I thought to myself, we got to talk about these moves, man. We got to talk about these free agency signings. We got to talk about some of these trades we've seen so far. So in this video, we're going to be reacting and grading some of the biggest free agency signings so far and some of the biggest trades. You guys know I'm big on the hoop side of basketball, but there's also a whole nother side of basketball when it comes to salary cap and CBA rules. So today I had to bring on a very special guest, a CBA expert, a salary cap expert, my brother Jason Gray. My dog, how you doing?
What up, man? Far from expert, but definitely about the business of basketball, all things business of basketball. It's funny, it's like the second the Celtics won, I'm thinking about the next championship. I'm thinking about, roster construction for 30 teams out there. So like this is like Christmas for me, man. I love I love the business of basketball, like all things business. So and off season is here before everybody take this little break in August. So let's get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. We here, Jay. We here, Jay. Happy to have you on the show, man. Appreciate you for making an appearance here with us. But let's stop wasting time, man. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. Jay, we're going to kick it off with one of the biggest splashes so far this offseason, and that is Paul George signing with the
Mm.
Philadelphia 76ers a 4-year, $212 million contract. So let me, open up the floor to you. We can get into if you want to start with first fit or financially, whatever. We could just kind of bounce back and forth about that and just, talk a little bit about that. But how do you feel about this signing, bringing Paul George with the 76ers?
No, bro. No, no.
Talk
It's
to
your
me.
show. It's your show. I want to hear your unbiased on what you got for it. Like what are your thoughts? Talk to me about the fit. Just I mean from the
Okay.
basketball sense and then
And
we'll
we'll
go
get,
from
okay. All right. So look, so let me say this. First things first, PG going to the 76ers means that the Clippers fumbled SGA and 7 first-round draft picks. Okay, that's the
there. It
first thing
sure
I want
did.
to say. That's the first thing I want to say, right? Like they fumbled the bag. I'm talking
You know one
about
of those picks was J-Dub too, right?
that's insane.
Yeah.
That's J Dub and SGA is probably the biggest two reasons why the Oklahoma City Thunder were as good as they were this last season. So it's insane to think about that. The Clippers letting him walk basically fumbled a league MVP. In my opinion, he should have been league MVP last year and 7 first-round picks. But let's not even just talk about that. Like, let's talk more about the 76ers, right? I think this automatically gives Joel Embiid the best team that he's ever had. Like, this puts them in the top tier of teams in the league, fully healthy. I think their floor is their Eastern Conference Finals. I'm gonna be honest with you, but
Floor?
their floor, like if they don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals, they have failed this year, in my opinion, if they're fully healthy. But there's a negative to this, though, right? Like you get Joel Embiid, the best team he's ever had, but there's a negative to it. Okay, they have $250 million tied up in 3 players. Paul George is 34 years old, and in the 4th year of his contract, bro's going to be 38 years old. Okay, so let's also not forget that Paul George and Joel Embiid are extremely injury prone. So that's the negative side of it. But as far as the fit, like as far as basketball wise, in my opinion, if you ask me, this if fully healthy, this fits like a glove. You give Joel Embiid another elite ball handler for him to run pick and rolls with. It forces defense to make tough decisions because, like, if imagine you have Paul George out on the wing, you got a Maxey and Joel Embiid high pick and roll, and now these teams have to decide on whether they're gonna help on Maxey coming downhill and help off Paul George, leave him open in the corner, or are you going to stay stuck on Paul George? And mind you, Paul George, he's shooting 45 last year. He shot 45% from the 3-point line on catch and shoot. And since 2013, since the tracking era, there's only been 3 players in the NBA that's made more catch and shoot threes than Paul George. Do you want to guess who those 3 are, Jay?
I'm pretty sure Klay Thompson's in there.
Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, and last name pretty surprising, it's Kevin Love, right? So those are
Okay.
the only 3 players since 2013 that have made more catch and shoot threes than Paul George. So as far as the fit wise, this is like in my opinion, amazing. You get this 3-headed monster, and then also you're adding a lot of wing depth, right? Because now They brought back Oubre. They signed Paul George, and they signed Caleb Martin. That's 3 elite, or if you don't want to say elite, at least above average wing defenders. And wing defenders are very, very valuable in this league. So I say all this to say, Jay, like, this was a great fit, like, playing basketball wise. Now financially, I don't know. So this is when you help me out, Jay. This is when you help me out, Jay. Talk to me.
I am not crazy about this.
Okay.
Are they an Eastern Conference? That they're an Eastern Conference floor, assuming Joel Embiid health. Like they are. But I'm not sliding right past that whole nugget there.
Okay.
Like where is Joel Embiid in terms of, well, he's not Orlando Magic Shaq, but LA Lakers Shaq, Miami Heat Shaq, Phoenix Suns Shaq. Where's Joel Embiid right now?
He's better than every single one of them except the Los Angeles Lakers Shaq, in my opinion. Because he really can shoot that thing.
No, I'm more so talking about age and health. And 1 year he just, like, when Shaq went from Miami to Phoenix, he fell off the map.
Yeah.
And I know I got like 15 years on you plus, but so I don't want to age myself or you, but there was a big drop off from Shaq, Miami Heat Shaq.
Agreed.
And Phoenix Suns Shaq.
Agreed.
And I say that to try to, like, put into perspective where Joel Embiid is. Where is he health wise, and where is he? He just turned 30. Mm-hmm. So what I'm getting at here is, depth is going to be an issue for this team, dog. Depth is going to be an issue. So if he misses 30 games and he coasts into the playoffs at 80%, do you think that they're going to finish any better than they did this year?
You add Paul George to that team? Absolutely.
Okay. If they had added Paul George this past year, do you think they would have beat the Celtics?
No, because nobody was beating the Celtics, though.
This past year, had Paul George been there at the trade, let's say since the trade deadline. Like,
I don't think if they got matched up with the Celtics, I think that just unfortunate. This was the Celtics' year to win. So to answer your question, no, I don't think that would have done anything. But hypothetically, like, let's say they get any other team besides the Celtics and they've had Paul George rolling all year, I think that makes a lot of a difference to them.
So again, so I agree, dude. First off, the fit, I agree with you 1,000.
Okay.
Right? Like, we're talking about 3-and-D, catch and shoot, playing off of Joel and Tyrese Maxey. We're 1,000. We're totally copacetic. What my real issue is the depth when you are paying 3 players max money, combined with the durability issues for Joel Embiid, and then the fact that Paul George is not going to be a $60 million player year 3 and year 4 of this deal, right? So to be honest, Paul George, I think he's got 2 more elite years in him. Okay. I think Joel Embiid has 2 more elite years in him.
Wow, that's it? For real?
Dude, he's 30. Do you look at him? He, like, the way he fought. Yes.
Okay,
just of being
2
on
years
top.
is crazy.
Yes, I'm giving him 2 to be on top.
Okay.
And actually, he's got a 3-year deal with a player option for the 3rd. So, like, if you're pushing all your chips in for the next 2 years, that's cool. That's cool. But the problem is between the 3rd best player. Well, they're just going to have the depth issues, man. And I'm just so not crazy about it. And so, like, if it was me, if you count Drummond and his $5 million, if you count Caleb Martin and his $8 million, and then you count Paul George and his $49 million, like, that was over $63 million. And I wouldn't have spent that. Not on that, not those 3 players. Like, you look at all the deals out there. There was Nick Claxton. There was Miles Bridges, who's my fan favorite. Haywood Highsmith went for like $5 million, dude. Tyus Jones is still on the market for the low. Like,
let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly real quick. Are you saying you would have rather go to, like, those players and try to build this championship roster, or like what are you trying to get at?
I'm saying that you need to build this team around Joel Embiid missing 30 games in the regular season, and you need to finesse the situation so he's 100% in the playoffs.
Okay.
F home home court advantage.
Okay.
Like, we don't need none of that. And I don't think Paul George and $50 million associated with him was the best way to do it. As elite as he is, and as the fit is, it's one thing when you draft these players and they're getting 25% of the cap, and you're getting them in their prime athleticism, like at 26, 27 years old. This ain't that. This is 3 elite players, and 2 of them are getting paid 35% of the cap. Like, that's not.
Okay.
Depth, and they're not built to overcome Joel Embiid missing 30 games and then massaging the situation so when the playoffs start, he's at damn near 100%. They ain't built to do that.
Okay. Can I ask you how you feel about Andre Drummond? Because I think, in my opinion, that was a steal. Like that, right? That's a great backup big to have, especially to pair him up with a player like Joel Embiid. Similar to Anthony Davis. I'm not going to make this about the Lakers, but similar to Anthony Davis, a very injury-prone player. When you can put a big body like Andre Drummond there to just be able to bang with other bigs and just preserve Joel Embiid or preserve Anthony Davis.
But that's not what it's going to be, dude. Time out.
During the season. Preserve during the season.
Okay. So I hear you, but that involves Joel Embiid playing 25 minutes a game, him abandoning any hopes for MVP.
That's fine.
And that is on the load management plan, and you're really committing to playing Andre Drummond, 20 minutes a game, 25
in the regular season, right?
In the regular season, right?
Totally
and then
fine.
Joel's going to be cool with 25 minutes a game.
Joel Embiid if he wants to win and he understands his injury history, someone's got to bring this to him. Sit down with him.
I agree.
We need you healthy come playoffs. Okay. So if you need to play less minutes during the regular season, you need an injury load during the regular season, do whatever you need to do. But by that time playoffs rolls around, I need you as close to 100% as possible. And I think that with the options that they had, them bringing Andre Drummond is about the closest thing you can bring to it, because you can try to preserve. So who do you
because
bring?
They're not going to do it, dude. You're talking about treating Joel Embiid like he's Al Horford on the Celtics. We need you to be ready for the playoffs. Yeah, that shit works when it's Al Horford, and it's like that's the whole load management game plan from the jump. Joel Embiid is the shot caller there, at least on the court. He's not going to be cool with playing 25 minutes a game and finessing for the playoffs, dude. Like, my plan when I outlined this whole shit back in April, the whole thing, I said what I would have done rather than give Paul George 50 is I wanted Nick Claxton. Like, that was my thing. I was like, Nick Claxton is a switchy defender. Nick Claxton can man the middle as needed and fill in for Joel Embiid when he needs to. But, like, I need you to carry the water with Joel Embiid while it's happening on the court, so he's not labor. Like, this is just this depth is going to be an issue. But
then with what you're saying, like, are you expecting then Joel Embiid to be healthy for a regular season? Because he's not gonna be. Like, I feel like that's a given at this point, right? Like,
okay,
he's gonna be healthy. So
let's play this out.
Why are we gonna play this out?
Okay. Let's play this out. He misses 30 games. Are we both comfortable saying that? Like, he's going to miss probably 30 games next year? Okay.
Which is crazy, but all right.
This is the squad. We're talking about Maxey, Drummond. Okay. First off, they did steal. Caleb Barton and Oubre, those were like steals, bro. Like, I'm with that. I love Oubre. But with no Joel Embiid, what do you expect what their winning percentage is going to be? Maxey, PG-13 or PG-8, Drummond, Oubre, Eric Gordon, Caleb Martin, the rookie, and then they had this dude showing out yesterday, Adam Bona, their second round pick.
That dude, yeah.
I see. You saw him?
I saw him. He was showing out. I ain't gonna lie, he was showing out.
I was like, and maybe he's the.
I didn't know who he was. I'm gonna be honest.
I didn't either. I was like, but he pops off the screen. I was like, dude, maybe he could be the Nick Claxton that I was talking about. But anyway.
But okay, hold on. If that happens, they're still good enough to be a playoff team. They're still good enough to be a top 6 seed in the East. They are still good enough to be a top, and that's all you need when you have a caliber of player like Joel Embiid. I just need you healthy come playoffs. Once you healthy come playoffs, I trust that you could turn that thing on. You don't trust that?
I think that roster is too weak. They can't compete. Like, could they sneak into the playoffs? Yes. but second round, dude. Like, I agree. The expectations are Eastern Conference Finals. Anything less than that
Is a
is a
failure.
complete failure. I'd
Absolutely.
argue that anything less than appearing in the NBA Finals is a failure. Like,
Chill.
that's where I'm with it. But I think based off of depth and Joel Embiid injury, and you've heard me make these claims before about other players, and it's like right on time. I'm I'm not sure they're gonna make it past the second round, dog. I'm
Damn.
not sure they're making it past the second round. I'm not
Say that
giving
again.
that.
Say that again, Jay. Say
I'm
that
not
again.
giving that to them, dog.
Say that again, Jay. Say
I'm
it again.
not giving that to them. I'm not sure they making it past the second round, dog. No,
Okay. All right,
no.
Jay. Okay, so then, okay. I mean, we might have to agree to disagree on this one. But then what about the moves of adding like you already told me you love the Caleb Martin move, but like adding the shooters like Eric Gordon, adding you already told me you like the Andre Drummond move. Like none of those are enough to you to push
They're
the Knicks in the
not,
regular
dude.
season.
Eric Gordon is 36, bro.
But okay, well, I'm not asking him to be I'm not asking him to be a Paul George, but he's a
Okay,
good spot
here's
up
what happens.
shooter.
But here's what happens. Joel Embiid gets hurt. Drummond moves up and has to play 25 or 30 minutes a game. And then who's coming in to give Andre Drummond a break for that 15 minutes?
That Adam.
No, he's not on the roster yet. Don't even look. There's not even a waste your breath.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean,
Daniel Tice is gone. He just went to the Pels. Like,
yeah.
what are we talking about here? Like, next man up, then the next man who's the next man. Like, I'm telling you, depth and injury. We getting this on wax right now.
Right now, Jay. July 11th, Jay. Okay. All right, Jay. I mean, hey, I like it. I don't know if you want to touch on anything else with the 76ers. No, Maxey re-signed 5-year 204,
Nah.
204 million, 40 million a year. Caleb Martin, we both showed some love to him. Only thing I want to say is that like fully healthy, dog, like I'm gonna be honest, this team is gonna have some elite defense. Like, except Maxey, right? This team has PG, Oubre, Caleb Martin, and then Joel Embiid. Like, man, right there. Especially
when they're firing on all cylinders,
it's going to be elite.
No, I'm with you. Fully healthy, they're Bombers championship. But I just, like I said, I've seen this before.
I feel it. Yeah. All right, Jay. Anything else you want to add with that, or we good to move on?
On the Sixers.
All right, here we go. Let's talk about another move. Another move I'm really excited to talk about. A sleeper move. Isaiah Hartenstein agrees to a 3-year deal, $87 million with Oklahoma City Thunder. Jay, I'm gonna be honest, not a flashy name, but if you watched Isaiah Hartenstein last year and you watched the Oklahoma City Thunder, you would know that this is a perfect match made in heaven. He brings the intensity that they need. He can take blows and preserve Chet, because Chet, he needs that preserving. He cannot keep going body to body with the Joel Embiids, with the Jokic's, with these bigs in these leagues. So he can preserve Chet by taking those blows. He's amazing out of that short roll. When he gets to that short roll, whether either that little floater that he does in the middle or him just getting in the middle and just making the right decision in the middle of the court, I'm expecting to see a whole lot of high pick and rolls with SGA and Hartenstein. But to me, I mean, this was the team that was the number 1 seed last year, just filled every single hole and every single need that they needed. Like,
are they coming out of the West next year?
I'm impressed. Man, Jay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to answer that yet. I'm gonna be honest. I don't mean to walk the fence, but I don't know if I'm ready to answer that yet, because I need to see how much are they going to improve, because they had everything this year. I think the only thing that they didn't have was the experience and the know-how that deep in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Did they learn everything they needed in 1 year? I don't know, man. I mean, look, the Celtics, it took them 3-4 years to learn everything that they needed to learn to get that deep. So did the Oklahoma City Thunder learn everything in 1 year? I don't know, but hey, I think that they had, for the team that was the number 1 seed last year, to add that, you filled every single need that you needed filled.
Yeah. So I don't really have nothing
to say on that.
Negative to say about the Thunder.
Any disagreements with what I said, or no?
No.
Okay.
So my issue with them was there was nothing stopping them. I guess my first question is, how many minutes are Hartenstein and Chet going to be able to play together? If they're committed to playing them together as needed, 10, 15 minutes a game together, and it's successful and it can
Mhm.
kill teams from a matchup standpoint when it's suitable, then I'll feel a lot better about that probably 10, 15 games into the season after I see it work. But and then I have to look back to see which, like, was there a better option? To me, there was nothing. You and I got on the pod at the trade deadline, and I said there was too light in the ass. I don't understand why they didn't make a move like this at the trade deadline, and then get more data as far as heading into the offseason, what was the next move. But they took their lumps on the chin. I like the way that they picked up Caruso too. So now they saw what Boston did to Dallas. And between Caruso, Cason Wallace, Dort, SGA, and J-Dub, they're gonna bully Luka next year. And I expect them to slide right past Dallas. I do expect them to make it. I think they're the front runners coming out of the West right now.
Okay.
And but I mean, they gave Hartenstein 3 years, damn near $90 million. And so they had the room over the next couple of years before the extensions for Chet and J-Dub kick in. They had that extra wiggle room. I question whether they could have got somebody better than Hartenstein.
Man.
But who was that guy, and would you have had to trade for him? Is my issue, because Miles Turner's about to be back on the block.
I was going to say,
yeah, Miles Turner's about to be back on the block. The way that their moves have shaken out, I think he might have been a worthwhile investment. So,
I think so. That is the number one player that I would have went after, and I think that, like, to be real with you, bro, I think Oklahoma City Thunder could have made anything work. Like, the amount of draft capital that they have, they could have made anything work. To your initial statement of like why they didn't do this at the trade deadline, I partially agree with that, but I also feel like another part of that is like, damn, well, like, we didn't even expect to be this good like this season. Like, I don't know if you expected Oklahoma City Thunder to be the number one seed like prior to them coming in. So I think their mindset is like, damn, like, we didn't even expect to be this good. Let's rock out this season. Let's see what we can do with what we got going. We clearly got something good going, and then like whatever is our downfall, we'll take care of that in the regular season, in the offseason with picks.
Let me track with me here.
Okay.
Because this is the math that I'm doing.
Okay.
Right? You knew Josh Giddey and his $8 million was a sunk cost that he was going to need to get dealt with.
Okay.
You knew that Chet playing small ball 5 was potentially an issue, which prompted you to sign Bismack Biyombo to $1 million vet minimum deal just in case you needed him. And then when the come down came, you didn't have the confidence to play him. So that tells me that you knew that you were potentially going to get exploited. And for me, an everyday fan, to watch it happen, exactly like I said, you facilitated the Gafford deal when you could have got in on that. You facilitated the Lively deal, who would have been a crazy combination. I mean, I love Cason Wallace, but I think I'd love Derek Lively and Chet next to each other for years to come better than I like whatever Cason Wallace. Considering you got Caruso and Dort too, like, all I'm saying is he had like 10 different fork in the road pass, and he chose to not do anything, then get smoked the way that I anticipated, and a lot of people anticipated they would get smoked. And then the big prize is Isaiah Hartenstein, who I think fits. I'm just like, damn, I thought
he's going to do a little more. I hear you. I hear, and I think that they knew that they were lighting ass too. I mean, to be honest, like, they knew this, but like I said, I think they just kind of came with that mindset of rocking out. But that's a great point that you made of like, then why even waste the money on Bismack Biyombo? Because like I mean, if you're not, if you know you're lighting ass and you know you finna just rock out like how you got, why even waste that money?
Here's what I'm getting at, because like somebody like Jalen Smith. Like, I don't know, he's been shooting some threes lately. He was getting phased out of Indiana, and the Bulls just picked him up for like 10 a year. He would have costed them what? One of them late fake ass first round pick, one of the 15 that they have, right? You could have brought Jalen Smith in for what was the salary that was the whole Gordon Hayward, Davis Bertans bullshit that they went through. Like, they could have got somebody like Jalen Smith as a proxy for, instead, even if you didn't want to tie up money for next year, just that body. Why Bismack Biyombo? You
I
could have
agree.
took Davis Bertans instead of Gordon Hayward, and I'm not letting you slide on this one.
Ah,
You went
damn.
all the way in on Gordon. You know what you were doing all the way Gordon Hayward. I was like, what? You supposed to do what? Right? They could have gotten anybody other than Bismack Biyombo. Like, I'm gonna leave that there.
Okay. No, respect. And to touch on Alex Caruso and the Josh Giddey, I mean, this is highway robbery. This is highway robbery, brother. Josh Giddey. You said what?
Is it?
It is. What?
I said what I said. Go ahead, finish your thought. I know I put you up right there.
Josh, bro. This is highway robbery, bro. Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. Apples for apples? Are you crazy? This is wild. Like, Josh Giddey did not fit what the Oklahoma City Thunder had going. Alex Caruso fits exactly what the Oklahoma City Thunder has going. You were talking about it earlier. Now you're adding in, right? You got Lou Dort in that backcourt defense. You got Alex Caruso. You got SGA, who led the league in steals last year. You got Jalen Williams. And then off the bench, you have Isaiah Joe. You have Cason Wallace. Like, this team is easily going to be one of the best defensive teams next year.
Yeah. So where I'm with you, first off, I love Caruso. I love his style of play. I love how he's going to fit in. And I love how he's going to try to replicate what Derek White and Drew Holiday and the rest of them did to Luka. Caruso helps the Thunder replicate that. So, like, from the Thunder's vantage point, this was a home run deal. But where it was highway robbery, I don't agree, because even though this may not work for the Bulls, this finally tells me that they're thinking along the right path. Now, here's the truth of it. Alex Caruso's up for an extension, and Josh Giddey's up for an extension. And Josh Giddey's going to get paid more than Alex Caruso. So from an age and a logistic and this is where we are as a franchise, like, I get where the Bulls were at, and I actually agree with it. And as much as I was pounding Giddey, I was pounding Giddey 12 months ago, because an inconsistent three-pointer, I think he's going to be he's definitely not going to be a plus defender, maybe a liability even on his best day. But we don't know what we don't know. Homeboy is...
He's like 23.
Homeboy's 22. He's about to be 22. He's about to be 22. And he's an elite. He has one elite skill. So if he can grow, he's the lottery pick that... He's the type of shitty lottery pick that the Bulls need to see if they throw some shit against the wall and see if it sticks. Like, he's a worthwhile candidate. So they were going to lose Caruso anyway. Caruso was 30. He was not going to be a part of the next good Bulls team. So they had to let him go. Just because that house is worth $1 million to me doesn't mean it's worth $1 million to you. And I think Caruso was a sunk cost, bro. So I'm not mad at it. Could you have went with draft picks instead? Could you have sold his ass for 2 picks a year ago? You could have, but that was yesterday. You got to deal with today. And if you think, because they're so drunk that they're going to keep Kobe White and they think they're going to be good next year, if the owner tells me we're going to be good next year, then I guess I got to co-sign on this Josh Giddey deal. Even though my personal opinion that they need to blow this shit up, like all of it up. Like, I'm selling Kobe White for that Mikal Bridges return, right? That's what I'm doing. But I digress. That's not where I'm going. If the owner tells me we got to be good and I want somebody to ride with Kobe White and has a chance to grow.
Okay, so you're saying it's not highway robbery because it's not like that's the Bulls are looking to go that direction anyway. Like,
exactly.
Okay.
Caruso's 30 and he's a role player. They need somebody who's 22 who has a chance to grow into something. They don't need a 30-year-old role player. You know
That makes sense. Okay. All right. Jay, anything else to add to that? Either Isaiah Hartenstein, Giddey, Alex Caruso, anything to that?
No, I do think, like I said, Thunder fared well. I put them as right now, present day, July 11th. I'd put them in the driver's seat for finishing top seed in the West and probably making it to the finals.
All right, I like that a lot. I can't yet co-sign with that. I ain't gonna lie. I feel good about him, but I can't say that just yet.
The
But
only one who gives me pause is I'm still very bullish on the Denver Nuggets. Still very bullish. People throwing around a lot of slander on them.
bullish is like you still think they're good, right?
Oh
Okay.
No, I
I'm
think it should be. I think it's going to be the Nuggets and the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals.
100%, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. For the fact that people are thinking that the Thunder, I mean that the Nuggets lost it, that shows you that this generation is stuck in prisoner's mentality. Like
Prisoner of the moment.
Prisoner of the moment, whatever it is, bro. Like that's insane to think that you think this team is done. Like I've seen some crazy slander on the Denver Nuggets. They're gonna wake people up next year, but
yeah, they are.
Jay, I want to get to this because I don't know if you're gonna agree with me or disagree with me, but next move right here, I want to talk about Bam Adebayo re-signs with the Heat, 3-year, $166 million extension. Okay, that's $55 million a year. Now, I'm going to be honest, Jay. I don't have much to say on this besides this. I think that this is a lot of money for somebody who cannot be your number one option on a championship team. I don't know about you, but if you ask me, John, can you truly see Bam Adebayo being a 1A on a championship team, especially if Jimmy Butler leaves because of that whole little fallout with Pat Riley? I would tell you no 10 times out of 10. And really quick, before you go, for perspective, Bam Adebayo is making more per year than Paul George, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James. I think that Bam Adebayo, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron, like there's a gap. Like there is a gap right there between those guys. Mm-hmm. And for Bam to be making more, in my opinion, a bit of an overpay. I'm not hating on his pockets. I don't never want to be the podcast that hates on people's money. I want him to get his money. I want all of us to get paid. Okay. His money won't take away from my money, but I'm just saying, if we talking financially wise, I think it was a bit of an overpay for a team that's not going to be able to compete for a championship.
Yeah. So, you can't evaluate players as much as I immerse myself in this cap stuff. You cannot equate the value of a player to the status of the player and even the top 10, top 15 player in the league because of the dynamics, the inner workings around rookie contracts and players year 7 through year 10 can only get paid 30%. Like it's not apples to apples in regards to evaluating who a player is. So for example, I think when I look at Bam, I look at him, can he be Draymond Green to a Steph Curry? The problem is the Miami Heat don't have a Steph Curry.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they can't get one. Because one, Jimmy's about to be out of there. He's about to be on his way. And two, Miami has some intrinsic value. They have a way to attract superstars that 25 other teams don't, right? The New York, LA, and then Miami is like up next. So for me, it doesn't mean much until they get his true partner in crime because Jimmy's about to age out of that. Jimmy's 35 about to be. So I'm with you. He's not a 1A. And especially if you associate that with getting a bucket. You're right. That's not him. But when you're looking at that the way the Warriors won with what did they call that shit with Draymond Green at the 5? The death lineup. The death lineup. Right? Yeah.
The death lineup.
Like he offers some versatility that in that same manner. And I like him. He's a great facilitator. You can't disrespect him and put a bum in front of him. He'll get a bucket.
Yeah.
But he's just not the tip of the spear when it comes to that. And so if Khalil Ware can turn into something,
man, he's nice.
You like him? I like him too.
So nice. Oh my gosh, he might be a sleeper in his draft. I ain't gonna lie.
Like, here's the thing, right? Bam has some facilitating and some playmaking for the 5 spot. If you hold him up to that standard as a front court player, he's solid. If somebody like Khalil Ware can shoot threes and spread the floor, but give the secondary rim protection, that defense has the chance to be nasty, right? So I look at Bam like does 5 + 5 = 12 or does 5 + 5 = 8? Bam is a player that fits with a lot of other bucket getters. And Tyler Hero just ain't it.
And it
So,
okay. I would that was gonna be my next question. I was gonna say, like, so you said like Bam could be the Draymond to Steph or whatever.
yeah,
And do you believe that Tyler could be that? Because I absolutely don't.
I absolutely do not. But what I do think is if you add together some of the new picks that they've gotten,
Okay.
you know, as the year turns over, if you add together whatever they can get for Jimmy Butler on his way out the door, and then you package that with somebody like Tyler Hero for somebody who strong arms their way to Miami, I could see them like trying to, you know, whether it's Donovan Mitchell or Dame Lillard, like them's yesterday, but like a dude like Anthony Simons,
Mm-hmm.
like put Simons next to Bam and see what they could do. That's the combo I want to see.
Okay.
You know?
See, I think this is a great. Hold on. Do you have anything else to add for the Heat and Bam? Because it's a great transition. You just transition to be
Not
great.
really. I like it. I like the money. You just need to pair it with something that fits, or you're going to have to unass him and trade him to somebody who can have him fit into their fold. But no, I don't think it's necessarily bad money.
Okay. I agree with that. I just think in my opinion, like 55 million for a guy who just can only take you so far is crazy. But then like that kind of translates exactly to, transitions us to exactly kind of what you were saying of like, okay, well, you need to put him next to somebody who can just go get a bucket and can strong arm themselves to Miami. And this is someone who I thought was going to strong arm themselves to Miami, and that's Donovan Mitchell, right? He ends up re-signing with the Cavs 3 years, 150 million, and like I'm extremely surprised that he re-signed, one because I thought it was over in Cavs. Like the Cavs literally left him out high and dry out there in the playoffs. He was having to literally carry the load just to get him past. And I'm not disrespecting the Orlando Magic, but just to get him past the Orlando Magic, when from where the Magic were and where the Cavs were, like the Cavs should have been handled. That should not have went 7 games, in my opinion. But because Donovan Mitchell, not only injuries, and Donovan Mitchell was out there high and dry, I thought he was leaving. And it would have made perfect sense. Like if you tell me you're paying Bam Adebayo 55 to ensure to keep him, and you're also bringing Donovan Mitchell, now that changes everything, because now that 55 is not only keeping Bam, but it's also enticing Donovan Mitchell to come. And that makes all the sense in the world. But I guess to transition to that Donovan Mitchell point, talk to me about how you feel about that re-sign, or if you want to go back to the Heat, do whatever you want, brother.
No. I mean, we're good. There's not much else to say. I can tell you why it didn't happen.
Tell me.
When I do the math on Donovan Mitchell, a lot of it was how the season ended. I believe Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell genuinely like each other. Like, I believe they're bros. I believe Donovan Mitchell likes everybody on that team and everybody likes him. The fundamental issue is that Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland overlap as far as like skill sets, and they don't complement each other. And I watched Darius Garland get underutilized when Donovan Mitchell was pounding the air out the ball. So that's my fundamental issue, and you paid so much. But the thing is Cleveland hasn't even started paying their draft capital to Utah yet. So they owe Utah still like 4 picks on top of Lauri Markkanen that they gave up for Donovan Mitchell. There was no way they was letting him walk out the door. Either he took the full ass extension or he was going to get traded, and there was no in between, because they could not be paying Utah when dude wasn't even on the team no more. So he wanted the best of both worlds. Brooklyn stunk too bad for him to want to go to New York, where he's from. The Knicks were already full up. He ran out of options. Did he want to pair himself with Zion Williams and his injury history? And is he the man in New Orleans? That just didn't pan out. So to me, the only 2 options were Orlando or Miami. Miami didn't have enough money in their pocket, bro. Cleveland lost all of their draft capital, and Miami's draft capital ain't juicy like that. So like for that deal wasn't going to happen. So let me tell you what Donovan Mitchell did. He didn't take the 4 years. He didn't he was eligible for a lot more money than he actually took. He's like, you know what? You guys fired the coach for me. And like all the vibes are good. Like I love the area. Let me sign for 2 more years. Then I'll be 31 instead of 32. and I can sign for the 35% max. So in 2 years, he's about to bust him by the balls and say, "Give me that 35% max." Whether it's here or in Miami or wherever else, he's strategically just added 2 years just to keep the good vibes and set himself up for the one last huge 35% of the cap payday that he's about to collect on. So
now hold on, everybody.
Yep.
Before we move forward, okay, this is why I got Jason Gray, the CBA and cap specialist, on the show here with us today. Jay,
Yep.
That was amazing. I'm gonna be honest, Jay. Like for a person like me, or for a dude like me who, yes, like I've been, getting a lot more into cap and CBA and whatnot, because like that is a side of basketball. But I'm, me, Jay, I'm about that hoops. I'm about that fit wise. But that that is great intel. That is great information to have. Like knowing, you know what I'm saying? Knowing the situation. That explains the entire situation.
So the thing is it's not even intel, because I don't know nobody like that. I don't know nobody, but
it's intel. It's intel from your head.
You can read the tea leaves, and you're like, why did he do 2 instead of a 4-year extension? Well, he did 2 because then he's going to be the 10-year. Then that means you can get the 35% max instead of the 30. But then when you do 35% of the cap for 4 more years, when you're a 10-year vet, we're talking about $120 million difference if I time my shit right. And there was nothing pushing him out with Cleveland. Like, there's good vibes. You can feel it. Then the other teams couldn't come correct with the offer that Kobe Altman was going to want. So it's like, it's really tea leaves. You add 1, 2, 3, you figure it out, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Like, it was good business. But I appreciate the compliment. But
I appreciate the comment. And then last thing, but that was great though, Jay. But last thing though, I will say on Donovan Mitchell is this: unless the Cavs make more moves, which you just broke it down pretty great to me, it doesn't look like they have much wiggle room. But unless they make more moves, they're bringing back the exact same roster, right? So, like, unless they make more moves, they're bringing back
Magic, the Knicks, the Celtics again.
Everybody is getting better, Jay. Like that's what I'm saying. That's my one concern. It's like, unless they make another move, Jay, they're bringing back the same roster while teams around them in the Eastern Conference are all getting better. So if he's going to get the bag, do it. But if he's trying to win a championship, I'm not too sure that this was the best move.
They're 4 deep because they can't. Okay, Mobley and Garland get better, but even Garland getting better, you may not see the benefits because the ball's in Donovan's hands the whole time, right? Mm-hmm. So unless Evan Mobley turns into Kevin Garnett overnight, like this has a ceiling to it. Yeah. And this was my whole problem with Donovan Mitchell in the first place.
Going to the Cavs.
You gave up all your picks and you got no depth, dog. Depth and injury prone. Cleveland ain't injury prone, a little bit lightweight with Donovan Mitchell, but the problem is they're 4 deep. And they're talking about trading Jared Allen. What are you going to get for Jared Allen? First off, he's a super solid role player. The second you trade him, you're going to need to replace him. Mm-hmm. What are you going to actually get for a $20 million player who's heading into the last year of his deal next year? Like, this is like, if you don't break it up or start stealing dudes in the second round and like low budgets, like home runs, they're not deep enough. You hit the nail on the head.
Absolutely, Jay.
That's a lucky second round team.
It's a lucky second round team, Jay. Lucky second round team, Jay. But all right, brother. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, but we can go ahead and keep it pushing. I don't have much to say to this. Just want to throw it out there. If you have something to say, please do. Derrick Jones Jr. ends up signing with the Clippers, 3-year, $30 million. I think it's disgusting. The Clippers are disgusting for doing this. Like, they literally decided to let Paul George walk, and they're trying to replace him with Derrick Jones Jr. and Nicholas Batum. It's just not going to work. They also gave Harden 2 years, $70 million, which is nasty work. You're giving $35 million a year to a 34-year-old James Harden. That is nasty work, bro. Any chance that the Clippers had to be competitive is out the window. Don't know if you have anything to add to that, but that's all I got to say on that.
I mean, I don't really have anything to say. I've been said this for a year now, and like, Yeah, now it's chickens coming home to roost.
Mm-hmm.
All these dudes, see, this is what I'm talking about. When I say spending on the credit card, and did I pound Boston and was I ultimately wrong? I didn't know if they would have a chance to win. If they didn't win this year, they was going to have to pay on that credit card. You know who's paying on the credit card right now? The Lakers credit card, paying bills. Ain't doing shit in offseason. Ain't heard their name. Why?
Man.
Because they maxed out their credit card. Miami, Milwaukee, Phoenix, all these teams spent all they had. That's the reason why. So did Boston get over on one? They did. So it don't even matter no more. They won. So congratulations, respect where respect is due. Cool. But when I get paranoid and I get on my little soapbox about teams spending on the credit card, it's these moments right now. And the Clippers are front and center. Let me tell you what happened with Paul George. I'll tell you right now. Steve Ballmer saw what I saw, and he saw what you saw. I see 3 motherfuckers fucking in their mid-30s, 3 of them, age-related regression next year, and we have 0 picks, like -2, none, right? Everybody's getting Thunder getting better, Dallas getting better, Minnesota getting better. Like, Rockets going to be on the scene next year. Memphis coming back. Goddamn Spurs. Like, everybody's getting better. And what we got? We got 3 35-year-olds that are going to get another year older, right? Steve, they can't even tank. They can't even tank because they got no damn picks, right? And Steve Ballmer watched this shit and he said, I got more money than all these owners goddamn put together. I don't care about this new building and the revenue that it generates in this new arena. I've seen enough. I can't expect nothing else from Kawhi Leonard next year. We got Paul George missing play-in games because of COVID. We got like you go down the list and it's like, it might be irrational to just let Paul George walk. They only wanted tradable deals. Kawhi Leonard could get traded. Kawhi Leonard's going to get traded inside of the next 18 months, maybe the next 12. You ain't hearing his name yet? You will in about 2 months. I promise you by trade deadline, you're going to start hearing Kawhi Leonard. James Harden's deal, even though he's overpaid, it's still a tradable deal for somebody desperate. Some low self-esteem franchise is going to want James Harden going into the final year of his deal. And Steve Ballmer, you know when you about to break up with a girl, but you don't want to break up with her, you just start pissing her off and make her walk, right? Or,
start getting ugly, start smelling.
Yeah. Or the job's like, this motherfucker been here like 10 years, but we don't want to pay severance, so we're going to make him quit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's when Paul George was asking for the no trade, and he was asking for the 4 years. Like we give you 4 years, 212. We can't even trade you after 2 years. We can't even trade you because you're going to be 37 making $60 million.
Yeah.
Steve Ballmer was like, I don't give a fuck about money. Get these motherfuckers out of here.
That's crazy, Jay. That's crazy, bro. Paul George actually talked about it, like on his podcast about how like he went to the Clippers front office and he was like, bro, like just give me what Kawhi got, and they were like, no, and
no, they said 2 for 60. They said 2 for 60. He got 4 for 212. They said their opening. That's why I knew. That's what you say to somebody when you want to break up. That's what you say to somebody when you want them to quit the job. Disrespectful. Okay. Right? And then they moved the goalposts. Then he said, all right, give me what Kawhi got. Right? And then they said no. And then by the time they said, we'll give you what Kawhi got, he was like, nah, I want that plus the no trade. Because obviously you motherfuckers are gonna look to trade me. Excuse my language, man. I'm gonna stop the F-bombs here.
You good, brother. You're good. You're good, brother.
But what I'm saying is they was moving the goalpost.
Okay.
So because they I don't think that they were ever, unless they gave him something that was a slam dunk deal to trade, like we can flip and trade you, which Paul George is not a dummy. He's not a dummy. He knew it. I'm like, if you guys are gonna trade me inside of 12 months, 18 months, then at least I'm gonna get this 200. Like that off top. That's what I'm getting. If you're going to end up trading me. If not, give me the no trade in 3 years, and I'll finish my career here in LA. Like, Steve Ballmer watched them get their ass handed to them in the playoffs, Steve Ballmer said, this is how we're heading into this offseason. Make no mistake about it. This was about Paul George and Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer said, you can go. You can go.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's a really good point. I ain't gonna lie. As far as like you're trying to get a girl to break up with you, so you just give him a really bad deal. So Nate, that's good. That's a great point. I ain't gonna lie. Jay, I'm gonna keep it pushing here, and I want to get to this next one, because this next one is one that I'm really disappointed on. I ain't gonna lie. Scottie Barnes signs a 5-year rookie extension. Per reports, the deal will be worth $225 million over 5 years, but it could reach $270 million if he meets the Supermax criteria. Two things before I give this to you. That's if he's a Supermax, that's potentially $54 million a year. Okay. He is not a $54 million a year type player. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Stephen Curry, LeBron James. Those are $53 million.
Time out. But for him to get the 270,
he has
and the 54, that means he has to hit the criteria.
I was going to read the criteria.
Okay, but what I'm getting at here, and I'm going to let you have the floor again, is where is Scottie Barnes now versus where would he have to be that designated veteran that gets that extra money, that extra $50 million? All I'm saying is, before you finish your thought, is the growth for him to get all NBA means that he might be a $54 million player by the time that contract kicks in.
So
are you with me?
I'm following. So let me see if I'm following you. What you're basically saying, and this is like kind of what I have here, is like you kind of have to pay him, because if you don't pay him now, when it's time for him to walk, he'll walk, and he's only 22 years old. So like, who knows how great he will be. So are you saying like you need to pay him now before he walks when he gets that good? Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, what I'm saying is he's going to be a restricted free agent. And it's not about if somebody's going to pay him that. It only takes one other team, 29 other teams, and at least 5 to 7 will be in a financial position to offer him that. And the question is will they? And even if he improves
slightly,
super marginal, they're still going to pay him off of potential. 23, 24 years old. So what I'm saying, though, but my point was, he might not be a $50 million player right now. That difference between the 225 and the 270, I'm saying that if he actually gets designated as an all-NBA player, and he actually has that skyrocket jump, that 50 extra million kick in on his contract, he'll have done what he needed to do
to prove that.
To now John is saying, all right, I F with him. Like he's he took that leap from year 3 to year 4. Like they gave it to him early, but he with it, and it was contingent upon his growth.
Okay. So essentially, like that. So I kind of have a whole spiel. Like, and like I said, like I started with like, that's potentially 54 million. If he meets the Supermax criteria. For anybody out there, Jay, please correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've seen from my research, the Supermax criteria is a player has to be named to an all NBA first team, or second or third. They have to be a defensive player of the year, either in the last 2 seasons, and then also have an NBA MVP in the last 3 seasons. Am I on point about that? Or okay.
So 2 out of the last 3. All NBA or defensive player 2 out of the last 3 years, or MVP. Or MVP, I think, in the last 2 years, 3 years.
Okay, so they're ors, not ands. They're ors. Okay, I was going to say ands are really hard to do that. But okay, sounds good. So for anybody out there, please, I hope you guys heard that up. But even if he doesn't hit it, and here's my take, I don't think he'll hit that. I don't think he'll be able to hit any 3 of those that I just said. It's
really all NBA.
Right. So he won't be any of those. So even that 225 over 5 years, which is 45 million a year, I think, in my opinion, is a stretch for Scottie Barnes based on what he showed. He last year 19, 6, and 8. But like how you just told me though, and like how I agree with you, he is still 22. So he may not be worth this 45 million July 11th, 2024, but he might be down the line.
Yeah.
And like how you said, even if one team bids, the Raptors like cannot let him go. Like they will be looked at like a franchise they let him go. So I hear you.
So that doesn't ever happen where you just let somebody go. So like it's like the second you know you're not willing to pay him, then that's when you see these trades happen because you're going to get traded to somebody else who will pay him. But based off on my math, because they're like 8% raises, next year it would be projected to start at 38, 41, 45, 48, and then 52, 53, give or take. And that's assuming that the cap rises 10% next year. But long story short, again, 38, 41, 45, 48, and then the last year would be 52. And that's no all NBA. But in relation to some of these other players, you know, Paul George getting 50, Cat getting 60, like paying Scottie Barnes next year 38 is a lot, but these numbers are growing exponentially. So the 38 is probably more equivalent to 5 years ago somebody making 18, 19 million a year. So like this inflation is starting to really kick in and it's getting real. So the sticker shocks, it's a lot. I get it.
It's a lot. It's a lot, especially for regular people like us, right? Like it's like, damn, that's kind of crazy. But all right, do you have anything to add to that, Jay, or can we keep it pushing?
Nah, I actually, my problem is I think that they're not surrounding him with the right talent. Like there's no other blue chip. Like I like IQ, I like him, but unless Grady Dick turns into something, like they don't have like there's a period where you hit the go button, right? We saw the Thunder, they were holding off, they got Chet, then he was out a year, then they drafted J-Dub, and now they're just finally I'd argue they could have hit the go button like 2 years ago, but they're finally, Sam Presti been super patient. They hit the go button. The Rockets about to hit the go button next year. So they're going to let this shit ride one more time, one more year, then go time. Orlando just hit the go button. Paolo, Anthony Black, Suggs, Franz. Like you need to have a wealth of talent like to go. Detroit's still a year, maybe 2 years away. Right? You hit that go button too early, and then you look at like where the Cavs are. Cavs hit the go button too early.
Too early.
Donovan, they were not ready for Donovan Mitchell yet. They were not the team, but they wanted to thrust themselves in, the low self-esteem franchise they are.
I love that. I'm gonna start saying that, Jay. Low self-esteem franchises. Yeah. Okay, I love it, Jay. Great takes on that. And you also transitioned us great into somebody the team who did hit a go button and who I think at the right time. And that's the Orlando Magic. They gave Franz Wagner the largest contract in Orlando Magic history, 5-year extension, $224 million, making $44.8 million a year. Now I'm gonna be honest, Jay. I don't know if you agree with me. I don't know. I was talking to one of my homies yesterday. He really disagreed with me. So let me see. I think Franz Wagner, somewhere in there, he has 1A potential. I really do. I think that he needs the right pieces around him. Okay. I think he needs the right pieces around him. But I think somewhere in there is 1A potential. And similar to the Scottie Barnes situation, I don't think this present day Franz Wagner is worth $44.8 million a year. But the player that he will become, I think that he can become worth that. We're talking about a 6'10" point guard, right? Like this guy legitimately, I've seen him. I've watched the Orlando Magic. They're probably one of my favorite league pass teams this last season. I've seen him get a rebound and go coast to coast. I've seen him get a rebound, set up the offense as the point guard. I've also seen Paolo get a rebound, or I've also seen him get a rebound, outlet to a point guard, get to the post, get in the right position, great feet work in the post, and able to go get a bucket. I've seen him score in the three. I've seen him score in the midi. He can legitimately do everything. And I think that it's young and it's an overpay right now. But you have to do it to secure that. And I think, like how you said, the Orlando Magic hit the freaking go button with this. And I just think Franz is that guy. And maybe I'm delusional about it, Jay. You tell me.
You know, I'm gonna defer to you on that one because I keep it a buck and I try to be transparent. I'm not gonna put anything extra on it. I haven't watched Franz enough to have any definitive statements. I mean, the most I watched him was when is in the playoffs this year. So I didn't get a good feel. It seems like every time I watch them, my eyes gravitate to Jalen Suggs and Paolo, and he's always kind of like, no, I did, and he's a very well-rounded player, and the swing skill on him being a dominating player for me is that tray ball. So I'm going to be a lot more into the Orlando Magic next year.
Okay.
And so but I'm gonna defer. What I will say though is just based off of his profile and like his rookie year and just coming on the scene, there's no way that you're not gonna be able to trade him and get positive value. So there's no real downside to giving him the most money that the CBA will allow you to offer him. And like, it's not like if you come to the conclusion that you need to trade him, you're still gonna get, I don't know, bag, but I mean you're looking at a Mikal Bridges type of offer if you decide to put him out there. So there's no real downside risk to giving him that money, even though he still has to grow into that contract. So I'll leave that there.
Okay, I like that. And then last thing on Orlando Magic, KCP signs 3-year, $66 million deal, $22 million a year. He's getting his bag before he retires, but not even that. I think this is a great vet presence to add to this young team. He's a proven winner. He's won with the Lakers, won with the Nuggets. He knows what it takes to win, and I think that that's such an underrated value in this league is having someone who's been in a winning organization, and then when they come over to a losing organization, they're like, man, what is this? What are y'all doing? This is not what a winning team does, And I think that that's going to just have a ripple effect. Also, Jalen Suggs, KCP, great defensive backcourt. Don't know if you have anything to add to that, but just wanted to say.
No, I agree. I am super bullish on Orlando. And I think that they're when we're talking about Cleveland and Philly and why I am not as bullish on those teams, it's because of Orlando, Boston, and New York. These are more complete teams. I don't love, but I do really like the KCP deal. I do. He's solid. I said they needed 3 things. They need veteran leadership. They needed shooting, a little bit of the movement shooting that KCP can do. And I think that they needed more shot creation, from the perimeter, right? I think that putting too much on Franz and Paolo, that adds a dimension, but you need to get a bucket guy. And the thing is in my offseason video, I said I targeted DeJounte Murray. Other considerations, you could have, paid the house for Donovan Mitchell, which I don't think was it either. The big problem I have is if you bring a guy in for some shot creation or some facilitating and elite playmaking, you're going to stunt the growth of Jalen Suggs and Anthony Black.
And Paolo.
And I do not, No, Paolo's going to get his.
But hold on. Okay, finish. No, finish. I'm sorry.
Paolo's they're invested in him enough, and he's going to be a full-fledged superstar, in my opinion. So him getting his usage, I'm not. He's going to eat first. He gets to the trough first. But Jalen Suggs and it was almost like I remember when there was Kevin Love was about to get traded to the Warriors 10 years ago for Klay Thompson. But if you trade Klay Thompson for Kevin Love 10 years ago, Draymond Green never happens. He was a 2nd-round pick and he was just a noob on the roster. You suppress talent. You bring somebody in, they're going to eat off of Jalen Suggs' plate, and Anthony Black may never happen. Now, Anthony Black may never happen because he might not be it, but he might be. We don't know. That's the point.
Okay.
You're taking reps away. So I'm curious to see, but the thing is if Franz ain't it and Anthony Black ain't it, they're going to need to trade for it because KCP is cool. And they can be some dogs on defense with Suggs and KCP, but they need somebody on Anthony Simons is my guy. I love that.
I like Anthony Simons.
Tired of hearing there's 5 teams who need him bad right now. Bad.
But a lot more than 5. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
But Jake, I don't want to get too deep into this, but you said that you thought DeJounte would be like a good move for them in your offseason video. Don't you think that DeJounte would just take the ball away from Paulo and like
He might have, but I was Atlanta DeJounte Murray would. I was hoping he would kind of turn into
feels like more of a defender.
Centennial Spurs DeJounte Murray.
Okay.
And this was before KCP. So now that you have KCP and 20 million his way, but if you hadn't had KCP and you brought in DeJounte, but you kind of like, dude, we still need Suggs and Anthony Black to get their touches, bro. Like, I feel like that would have been a good one. But again, they chose their path. And
all right, Jay, this next one's gonna hurt my heart to talk about. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jay. We had LeBron James re-signed to the Lakers for 2 years, $105 million, making $52.5 million a year. I'm gonna be honest, Jay. Like, I was really hoping this man would take some sort of a pay cut because, like, our backs are up against the wall. And it's so frustrating because I feel like at the same time, LeBron James is like, oh, I want to be competitive in my last couple of years. But, bro, you're not giving us the chance to be competitive. Like, we can't go get anybody. We can't do anything. Like how you said, we spent our freaking credit card. And LeBron James gave us a chance this year when, like, to save a little bit on the credit card payments. But, like, he was like, nah, F that. I want all my money. And like, as like a freaking, I don't even want to get like super woke or whatnot, but like as a black man, like in America, like, yes, go get your money. Like, this is $1 billion corporation, NBA. But like, real quick, let me put that aside and let's just think from a Lakers fan perspective. Like, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to put up banners. I'm trying to catch the Celtics. Like we already were in a tough predicament. And now you're putting us even tougher predicament, especially with a player like LeBron. It's not like LeBron needs it. He makes so much money off the court.
So there's a lot to unpack right there. And I want to simplify what you I want to ask you a very direct question.
Okay.
To put you in LBJ's shoes.
Okay.
Right. So he took like a $2 million haircut to stay out of the second apron. And I'd argue he owed that to them just based off of Bronny's contract. Right. So he gave him $2 million discount. Yeah. But anyway, that's beside the point. So their payroll right now is at about $187 million. For him to have facilitated them going to get somebody else, we're not talking about a $5 million pay cut. We're talking about him going from damn near $50 million next year to like $20 or $25 million next year.
That's fine.
So again, I hear you, but like once Klay's off the board, and who was the other one? Because it wasn't DeRozan. What was the other one that they were talking about?
People, I mean, people say everything for the Lakers. Donovan Mitchell. I heard Louis Markkinen. I've heard DeJounte Murray. I've heard Trae Young. I've heard almost everything linked to the Lakers.
But for him, he would. So here's the thing. I think he makes 10x outside of basketball. Like, I don't know. I'm not in another deep pocket.
That's what I'm saying.
He's in a different position. There's like a different stratosphere. So, but it goes beyond that for them. Like, it's what the money says. I could make $500 million a year outside of my NBA salary. I don't know what the hell dude makes. I know it's a lot based off of shoes, business, outside, whatever. What I'm getting at here though is this $50 million he's making on his NBA salary versus 20. That's a status thing, bro. That's an ego thing. And if I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it for somebody like Klay. And we're not talking about $10 million. We're talking about $20, $30 million next year. And what does that say? And I'm not in another man's shoes, so I'm not gonna critique. I'm not a Lakers fan. So like I'm independent of that one.
But I just like, I hear everything that you're saying, and it's like, yeah, it could be about ego, it could be about all that, but it's like, bro, one, you should be able to put your ego aside, but two, it's like you should know you've already stamped your seal of approval. Niggas know you're LeBron James, okay? Like even if you playing for free, nigga, like people know who you are at this point. Like you don't need to be on no
coming out right
ego
now,
shit.
boy. Look at
It just pissed me off, Jay. I ain't gonna lie, Jay. Like it pissed me off, Jay. Like any chance of us being competitive is now out the window, and we're just gonna run it back. And we paid Max Christie. You texted me that. You texted me saying, "Why in the world did we pay Max Christie?" And that's what I
didn't say no we.
Okay. Why in the world did the Lakers, right? Because I'm a Lakers fan, right? But like, bro, that's something else that's crazy to me. It's like, bro, people rip me for this, but I'm standing on it. I don't think Max Christie is an NBA level talent player. I really don't think so. I think he should be in the G League, and I think he should be working on his game. He's just not ready. Physicality, talent, everything. And trust me, Jay, I have not missed a Lakers game faithfully since 2008. So I've seen every single game this kid has played, and I guarantee to you he's not an NBA player, and we can have someone else in that roster spot.
Damn, you're not an NBA player getting $8 million a year.
Man, the weak ass front office that we have, Jay.
So I'm not in a position to talk about Max Christie and that deal he got. But what I will say, or what you brought up a point that made me go back. And why should LBJ be compelled? What does he owe the franchise? And if you're talking about LBJ going from $50 million a year to $10 million next year or 20, whatever it does to get the extra guy or the extra guy, I would say he probably owes the Lakers based off of how he strong-armed them into that Russell Westbrook deal, right? Like, how many players did the Lakers lose
my gosh,
off of him exerting his yeah. I'll let you finish that. I was like, I'm like, he does owe the Lakers. And the reason that they are tapped out and spent is because he's the one
that's been
forcing their hand.
Absolutely. Yeah. And not even that, bro. Like, yes, I feel like he owes it to the Lakers, but it's like, is winning not the most important thing? Like, did you not just watch the playoffs last year? Like, did you not see the depth is what wins NBA championships? So
if I was Jeannie Buss and I was saying we want to sell the team, we want
I'd sell the team.
Okay. If I'm the head decision maker with the Lakers, I'm saying you should probably give us a hometown discount, like a deep discount, because there's 5 players, 5 rookie contracts or vets. Like, you go down the list.
We just drafted your son. We just drafted your freaking son,
dude. So again, I'm one to stay out of another dude's pockets. I'm not no decision maker for LBJ. I'm not no financial advisor for LBJ. All I'm saying is that they have accommodated more than they've bent over for dude and acquiesced to every demand. So
come on, Bron. Yeah, Bron let me down, man. But all right, Jay. One of the last little free agent signings, not little, this is really big actually. Pascal Siakam resigns with the Pacers, 4-year, basically 190 million, making $48 million a year. It makes sense. I don't have much to say to this. It makes sense. You just reached the Eastern Conference Finals. You go all in. This team was relatively young. They got an average age of 25 years old. I think they made a lot of silly mistakes last year going up against the Celtics, and I think you learn from that and run it back. So I think you kind of had to do something like this to keep him here. Anything to add to that or no?
I'm not crazy about it. All I evaluated team who's trying to make a run is like, you're trying to climb Mount Everest, right? And you've been running trials, you've been packing your rations, you have been doing everything to scale this mountain, right? And Pascal Siakam made the team better. They went from scaling 70% of the mountain to 90% of the mountain. But I think with what they spent on him, they're tapped out. They're not going to, for me, Jarace Walker, what happened to him? You spent the 8th pick on him. The 8th pick, dude.
And he's good too. He's really good.
He's got talent, but the point is you're Obi Toppin, Now you're bringing in James Wiseman, hopefully to succeed Miles Turner, like Isaiah Jackson. People were sleeping on him. Did you see him impacting games on the defensive end?
Did you see Jason Gray call it out a long time ago about Isaiah Jackson? I saw that.
I did. But what I'm getting at here is like, again, this is suppressing talent, right? And so when I look at an 8-man championship rotation, it's not 3 or 4 players super talented getting suppressed on the bench who can't play. And Pascal Siakam getting 42, 45, 49, 53. Like, that is a lot. And now you're going to have to let Isaiah Jackson walk in free agents. Somebody's going to give him $15 million a year next year. Nah, sorry, we gave that money to Obi Toppin. Sorry. Yeah. And not only do we not have the money for Isaiah Jackson because we gave it to Obi Toppin, but because we gave it to Obi Toppin, Jarace Walker can't even get no minutes or no touches. And then because we gave Pascal Siakam that money and Obi Toppin that money, now Miles Turner's on an expiring $20 million deal. Oh, you think free agency is just going to let that slide and you guys keep him too? Like Pascal Siakam costed them more than the 3 picks that they gave up for him. Now you got to pay him. Now he's eating up money, touches, usage, like
the future. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so unless Matherin and Nembhard is super solid, he's going to get paid too.
Yeah,
I like Nembhard.
Matherin,
yeah, and Matherin coming back, but
he's
they
legit.
have to hit. They have to. I'm bullish on them, but they have to. If they don't hit, I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, I like that, Jay.
Made them better. Made them better, but they're still Celtics, Philly, New York. Like, I'm not, Orlando. Like, and I love Hallie, so that's not easy for me to say.
You do love Hallie. I remember you do love Hallie. I remember that, actually. Man, me and Jay, for the family out there, me and Jay one time we was hooping and we was getting into Halliburton, and then we was talking about it, how he kind of had like a little bit of a dip in the second half of the season, and then Jay was like, "But you didn't notice the injury?" I'll never forget that. But Jay, mainly for shorts purposes, I have to say this is not much to get into this, but Chris Paul agrees to 1 year, $11 million with the Spurs, and he basically said, like, all right, well, winning a championship is out the window, so let me just go play with an all-time team, all-time coach, and an all-time player like Wemby. All I'll say is this, man. I think Chris Paul is going to unlock a whole nother side of Wemby that the world, and not even Wemby, has seen. It's going to be really fun to watch. Really, that's it. All I got to say.
I agree, and I will co-sign it. I think it was a good move. I really think the Spurs screwed the pooch not messing with Rob Dillingham. Like, dude, they had him. First off, he should have went 4th to the Spurs instead of the 8th. Second, you have the pick at the 8th. Now, I know they got like this 2030 unprotected from Minnesota. I get it, but I don't get it. I went back and I circled back on Rob Dillingham. I was looking at the scout, my man Hoop Intellect. Then I see a whole section of Rob Dillingham tossing lobs for like 5 minutes, tossing lobs. I'm like, his first step is like nasty, right? I'm like, what the? Who do the Spurs think they are passing on a potential banger like this? I'm not saying he's gonna hit, dude. I'm not saying he's gonna hit. I'm saying you need a guy like that, and he might be that. And this is like a low investment. Like, give the 8th, you give that to Mini. What?
Bro, you know what's crazy? Jay? I think that, like,
first off, time out. I got one last.
Go ahead.
As good as Wemby's going to be, I'm almost glad the Spurs are just smoking this stuff up, because I don't want to see some super team at Wemby's 24 years old and mobbing on the entire Western Conference for the next 10 years. So if the Spurs want to smoke it up, smoke it up. I don't even care.
Go ahead, smoke it up. It'll be better for us.
But passing on Rob for.
That was crazy. So that's one thing I want to touch on. So let's just go ahead and jump to that. Like, that pick, right, with the Spurs and the Timberwolves or whatnot. Like, I think it's crazy, and I'll touch on the Timberwolves in a little bit. But the first thing I want to say is, like, the Spurs passed on Rob, who I think is not only a better playmaker than Stephon Castle, who they ended up going with, but I also know for a fact that he's a better shooter than Stephon Castle, right? And one thing that I've said so many times, I literally, bro, my claim to fame is the second Ben Simmons got drafted and the Philadelphia said he's going to be a point guard. I was like, this is not going to work. I remember the whole world thought this was going to work. And I was like, dude, you cannot be a point guard in today's NBA and not be able to shoot into pick and roll league, and you're pairing yourself with Joel Embiid. So same thing. Now Stephon Castle, who shot 27% from 3-point last year, is now going to get paired with Wemby. Let's say a pick and roll happens. I'm just doubling Wemby. Like now, okay, Wemby is hella tall, so you can maybe just throw it over everyone, just give it to him. That's an exception. But like, unless Stephon Castle works on that jumper, like I don't see that happening. Like as a matter of fact, I think that of everyone, I don't want anyone to be a bust. I think he's the most likely to be a bust in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that. So they traded Rob, someone who can do everything that matches Wemby for, I think, just like honestly pennies on a dollar. And then for the Timberwolves side of things, bro, in my opinion, if you ask me, John, what was the Timberwolves missing last year? I would tell you a scoring punch off the bench. And throughout the offseason, they bought in Joe Ingles, right? In the 1 year, $3.3 million. It's going to be a nice scoring punch off the bench. But also Rob, bro, like Rob is going to be able, like he is, you said you watch his highlights, right? But I think he has the most, I don't want to say the most because I'm not too deep into the drafts and stuff like that. But I would say from everyone I've seen, he probably has the most game that's like going to translate amazing into the NBA. Like he just is a natural bucket getter. Like, he just knows how to put the ball in the bucket. And I think that you give the Timberwolves that, and like the Timberwolves got their future in Anthony Edwards. But let's say, you know what I'm saying, the NBA is crazy. Something happens. Anthony Edwards feels slighted. Anthony Edwards ends up moving on. You have Rob. So you not only secured your here and now, but you also secured your future. So
well, I don't want to get too far ahead of who Rob is or what he's going to be. We can only go off of what his talent hopefully translates to, what is his baseline like skill set, and I'm with you. Like I loved his skill set. I think the 8th pick was probably fair compensation for what ceiling he might be. But then I look at it deeper and I'm like, man, he's about to learn from Mike Conley. He's going to be accountable on defense. And then he's going to check mark. My issue with Minnesota, I went from talking a whole lot of smack about Minnesota going back to April to now I'm bullish on them because I didn't think they had the juice or the gumption to make a move like this. Now, this is going to relieve some of the burden on Ant offensively. He's going to be tossing lobs to Cat and Rudy Gobert. Like he's the on-ball juice that this team was looking for that can help their offense level up. And again, if the culture and Mike Conley and his defense and his at least the team defense is right, Brody, the Ant's gonna be catching lobs too, dog. I like Mini, dog. I like Minnesota. I like them now.
I like it.
We'll see.
I like it. All right, Jay. I want to get to this trade right here with you, Jay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not know that this was the first trade in NBA history, first 16 trade in NBA history. I'm gonna be honest with you. So pretty cool. You know, we're breaking NBA history news right here. But we have Klay Thompson going to the Dallas Mavericks, big time trade. Let me read it off real quick. And for the folks on YouTube, this will be on the visuals. We got Mavericks. They get Klay Thompson, a 2025 second round. Timberwolves get 2025 second round pick, 2031 second round pick swap, cash considerations. Warriors get Kyle Anderson, Buddy Hield. Nuggets get cash consideration. Hornets get Josh Green, Reggie Jackson, 2029 and 2030 second round pick. 76ers get 2031 second round pick. I'm gonna open up the floor to you, kind of go wherever you want. I mean, I feel like the only two teams that got something was the Warriors and the Mavs here. I know the Hornets got Josh Green, but what's that? But so like basically talk to me about how you feel on this whole ordeal here.
Well, let me first say this. Let me just attack the the elephant in the room here, because I've been a Warrior fan for about 20 years. Going back, I fell in love with the Dubs, and We Believe. Baron Davis is like probably my all-time favorite player, next to Hakeem the Dream. But I did not see this shit happening with Klay Thompson. I see a lot of stuff, man. I see a lot of stuff before it actually happens. And I was like, there's no way he's going to get past this conversation with Steph and Dre. Like, I'm leaving. And when it came down to money, like I was like, how much money does Orlando or Philly have to offer Klay before he's going to say the Warriors 20-some million isn't enough? But that conversation happened. I underestimated how dude could be going through a midlife crisis. He's like, F the organization. Like Klay's the type of dude, and I put money that this is what happened. It was like December, January. It was like you're in contract negotiations. This is when he's getting played around with, starting and then not starting over Podziemski and stuff. And he's like, you guys keep playing with me. In June, I'm done. You're not going to come back and try to sweet talk me in June and offer a little bit of extra money. If you don't fold right now on my money and messing with me starting, we ain't got nothing to talk about in June. Nothing. And I knew Klay was like this, but I didn't think
he do look petty. He do look like a petty dude. He do look like a petty dude.
He's been like that.
He's been a petty dude.
He's been like that. So,
definitely has.
But I still didn't think he'd make it past the conversation. The conversation, hey, Steph, I'm out. I'm going to Dallas. Like, how does that happen, dog? How does that conversation happen? So, he did. I was shocked. And like I said, you can't always be right. Goddamn. But I'm going to tell you like this, dude. I'm going to ask you this question because I don't think Dallas is better. I do not think this was a good move. I think that it was a lateral move. They spent what money they had in their pocket, and it was lateral. Is he going to make more three-pointers than Derrick Jones Jr. and Josh Green?
100%.
You damn right he is. Was Josh Green an all-over-the-place defender? I think people hate on Josh Green. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I'm going to tell you. It doesn't matter what they do to their defense. And it doesn't matter that Klay is a better shooter than who he replaced. I saw, when I knew this shit with Boston was over, it was game 3. It was the fourth quarter, and there was like 10 minutes left, right? And it was a tight game, and I was expecting Luka to close this out. This is game 2. I think they were down 0-2, right? And then Boston took a 3-0 lead, right? And I've played basketball, bro. I'm getting older. I saw a ball bounce right in front of Luka. One of those Russell Westbrook, Oklahoma City rebounds where Steven Adams would box out and they goose the rebounds for Russ?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had one of those rebounds fall right in front of him, like less than 5 feet away. And I'm no mind reader. I don't know. But I saw the look. The look was, bruh, I'm fucking tired. If I spend this energy to go get this ball, how am I supposed to
go get a bucket?
And I watched him, and he gave it up, and Boston was hungry, and they snatched that ball up and then got an easy bucket, and I was like, oh shit, this is over. And this is the reason I never messed with that heliocentric shit in the first place. But I was so desperate for Minnesota to not win and Boston to not win. I got suckered into rooting for Dallas. But I was like, here's the problem. Let me culminate to this. No matter what they do with the 4 other players playing defense, no matter what they do, if they don't get shot creation from Jaden Hardy or Kyrie carries more water or they bring in another guy, it doesn't matter because Boston or somebody else is going to play find the bitch. They're going to do the Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope, And then when they get to the last 6 minutes of the most intense games in the Western Conference Finals or the finals, if Luka doesn't get his act right and get his ass off the ball sometimes, their fate is sealed, bro. Their fate is sealed. Because Luka, I'm curious to see how he reacts next year.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it, and anybody else watching closely should have saw that too. If they're going to play find the bitch and Luka's going to give up the bucket, get a changeup, get a screwball, get a whatever, so your fastball is as potent as it should be. I'm going to leave that there.
Jay, I'll say this. So a couple things, right? You said about like when you knew it was over. I knew it was over 6 months ago. I ain't gonna lie, but that's just but that's because for exactly what you said though. The Celtics can play a style that can't nobody else in the league play. Find a bitch, and you can't do that to them. You just can't do that to them. Switch 1 through 5. But that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is this move with Klay Thompson, right? And I think this, right? Because I agree, maybe it's a little bit of a lateral move, but I think they do get a little bit better as far as fit wise, right? Like how you said, Klay Thompson's going to make a lot more threes than Derrick Jones, going to make a lot more threes than Josh Green. He's going to play a better defense than Tim Hardaway Jr. Like I think all of that for sure. But the one thing I think is like a deciding factor in all this is, are the Mavs going to continue to play that heliocentric as basketball with Luka? Because if they do that, and all you do is you're bringing Klay Thompson to sit on the corner and just wait for when the defense crashes on Luka or Kyrie driving in, and then now it's a drive and kick. If that's all you're doing, you are underutilizing Klay Thompson. You are way underutilizing Klay Thompson. And I think we just talking about him being petty, him being like he can get mad. Like I think he's the type of dude where he'll be like, bro, like y'all not using me right. Then he'll have that stank attitude and he'll have that stank face. Yeah. And when he was on the Warriors, bro, I'm talking about pin downs, curl screens, elevator screens, drag screens. Like he's running all over court. He's on the move. Yeah. I don't know if the Mavericks are going to be able to do that. Like if the Mavericks want to totally utilize Klay Thompson, they're going to have to incorporate a lot more off-ball movement for Klay Thompson to get fully utilized on this team. And for you to incorporate some off-ball movements, Kyrie and Luka are going to have to say, I'm okay with doing that. And are they okay with doing that? I'm Kyrie, maybe. I don't think Luka is, to be honest with you, because of how great he is on the other end. So I think, yes, they got better, but it depends on how they're going to use Klay Thompson. Because if they just put Klay Thompson in the corner, they might as well have just kept Derrick Jones Jr. and kept Josh Green and kept Tim Hardaway and did all that. But if they're going to utilize sets to actually get him at his maximum potential, I think this could work.
I agree with you. However, I don't want to undersell the Mavs and Jason Kidd and Luka. I think that it's entirely plausible that they're going to have Luka do his heliocentric stuff. And there's 3, maybe 4 other players on the court that can have a whole lot of movement and sets running while Luka is pounding the air out of the ball like for the 6 or 7 seconds that he averages every single time he touches the ball. There's still a lot of movement that can be going on and freaky stuff that Klay could be involved in. It's just the difference between how the Warriors have played the last 10 years versus how Luka plays is dramatically different. Yeah. And there's not going to be as much ball movement. But that doesn't mean that those other 4 players ain't moving to where they might have to find a different way to maximize them. I'm with you though. But the problem is what you just led with, which was if the ball doesn't come out of Luka's hands, they can get to the Western Conference Finals doing that shit.
They can.
But the Western Conference Finals next year is going to have either Minnesota or OKC there, and then they're going to have whoever comes out of the East. And both of those teams, I suspect, are not going to play that shit. They're not letting that shit ride. So
yeah, no, I'm 100% with you, Dan. I think it, like fit wise, like how you said, I think even if you just put Klay Thompson in the corner, I mean, he shoots 45% on the corner and catch and shoot. Like you give him the love, you know what I'm saying? And as a defense, you have to respect that. You cannot just, you know what I'm saying, help off and just go help Luka. But yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm really interested to see how they're going to utilize him. And then for your Warriors, I don't know if you want to touch on this. I don't have much to say, but in that deal, they got, Kyle Anderson and Buddy Hield. My only thought here, to be honest with you, is like, I think this is like you're trying to replace Klay Thompson's shooting with Buddy, and you're trying to replace Klay Thompson's defense with DeAnthony Melton, because they also got DeAnthony Melton on the deal. But my problem is like, that's not their main concern. I think their main concern is the lack of a big. So it's like, yeah, it's great that, you're bringing in the shooting, you're bringing in the defense, but they're just still too small. Like they really need that big, and that's their main concern. So I think solid moves, but in my opinion, it doesn't address the elephant in the room.
I agree. And actually, I would even add to a big with some rim protection. Now, I'm going to leave out Hope. Trace Jackson-Davis, like, is going to be the man in the middle next year for them, and I like it. The problem is neither him or Draymond are shooters, so you're talking about 3 out at best, right? And I like Kyle Anderson filling in for Draymond. Kyle Anderson is still a plus defender
for sure,
and he can hold the rock a little bit.
It's not a big loss for the Timberwolves, I ain't gonna lie.
It is, but they need some more shot creation or some more juice on the ball, because Steph can't carry the water like that, man. Like, he's 36, dude. Like give dude a break, and that's the reason everybody wanted to kick Jordan Poole out of town, and rightfully so or not rightfully so, whatever. But the skill set is still needed. Is to get some shot creation somewhere. It could be a front court player or a back court player, but like even a player like Julius Randle, I'm not saying the Warriors should go get him, but like because I think he's gonna be on the block this year, and a player like Julius Randle with some juice on the ball, again, can allow the Warriors to do what they do, and just relieve some pressure off of Steph. So I don't know, like they could go a couple of different ways.
Let's stay in Cali, Jay. Let's stay in Cali. Let's talk about.
I don't like it. I
okay, know where I don't either. I don't either. Let me talk to you, Jay. Let me talk to you, because I don't either, to be honest with you, Jay. And I think it's crazy. So the Kings, they land DeMar DeRozan, 3-team deal, sign and trade. Kings get DeMar DeRozan. Spurs get Harrison Barnes. Bulls get Chris Duarte and 2 second-round picks. Now, let me say this. I think this trade caught me super off guard. Like, when I seen it, I was like, I didn't even hear a report about DeMar. I was like, where did this come from? But all right, it's cool, whatever, right? But my question that I asked myself is like, okay, John, like, does DeMar take the Kings to the next level from where they are right now? Does he take the Kings to the next level? Considering that the Kings are already a first or second round playoff team, absolutely not. This does not take the Kings to the next level. I personally don't think this fit is going to work. You just said a great point about having 3 non-shooters on the court. They bring DeMar DeRozan. They now have 3 non-shooters on the court, exactly like how you just talked about. On top of that, DeMar DeRozan, he signed a 3-year, $74 million deal. DeMar's about to be 35 in a month, not in a year, in a month. He's about to be 35 years old. So that means he's going to be 38 in the last year of his deal, making $24 million a year, which is crazy. And I think that this move is also going to have to force the Kings to absolutely reconstruct everything about their offense. Like, everything about their offense is now going to have to get reconstructed, because you cannot just put DeMar DeRozan behind the 3-point line and say, hey, watch De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis run their 2-man game and wait here for a catch and shoot 3. Like, you're underutilizing DeMar DeRozan. So now you have to change your offense to fit DeMar DeRozan on this team. And I think also this move absolutely derails the progress of Keegan Murray, which is a sad story, because he was on the rise. His stock was rising. And I think that, like, the one thing that I think will be good from this is the DHOs you're going to see, like those little handoffs that they do, because DeMar DeRozan is very good at catching those handoffs and immediately going into that fadeaway. But besides that, Jay, I think that the Kings somehow, some way found a way to get worse.
I love the way you ended that. I concur on everything you just said. I really I feel like I'm watching you. It's hard. I don't know where you were before we met from a basketball acumen, or if, like, as we talk, like we're starting to be a little bit more like-minded, but like that's you hit the nail on the head with everything. And it's like it goes beyond that. Like Sacramento's been little brother for like fucking
Ever.
15, 20 years now. Yeah. And so like they're like a used car dealership, man. They're like dude, they want to be premium so bad and they're just not. And I don't get this. The thing is, I first off, I don't like talking bad about Demar. I like Demar, and I think he still has game, and in the right situation can be used very effectively. I think if you're gonna do heliocentric basketball, then man, would he have been a killer for the Dallas Mavericks coming in off the bench, bro.
Mhm.
And then even closing games, but giving somebody like, because Kyrie don't carry the water like DeMar does. DeMar will go out there and like drag a team to a dub, like a regular season dub. And like he could offer a true different dimension for some of these teams that have the heliocentric players. The thing is, DeMar's a $20 million player, maybe 25, which is what he got on the right team, you know, playing 30 minutes, but gear it towards the bench. I have no real issues with the contract that he got. It's just on the wrong damn team, dude.
Mhm.
You need shooters out there. I don't want to stunt Keegan Murray or De'Aaron Fox. I don't want to take the ball out of his hands. Like this is just compounding a bad situation, throwing bad money after bad money, dude.
Yeah.
And you're about to see it. They might not even make the playoffs next year. When I look at the teams that are going to get squeezed out, they are prime on that list. And
Absolutely.
and the
Absolutely,
money,
Jay.
yeah, they are prime on that list of not even making the playoffs. Then what? Then De'Aaron Fox get pissed off. He's 27, 28 years old.
Mhm.
He want to leave. Sabonis is like locked in for damn near 200 over the next 4 years. Like this is bad. I'll say this though. I do like Devin Carter. He is my type. He
Man,
is my type.
that's what I wanted
He
the
is
Lakers.
my type.
That's what I wanted the Lakers to get, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted the Lakers to get. Devin Carter's nice, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, bro. Honestly, the Kings. Literally the only good news of this, Jay, is that hopefully the tickets will now go down again, and I'll be able to go to the Kings game for a good $15.
Yeah.
But anything to add on the Kings, Jay, before we move on?
Nope.
All right, Jay. Let's get to this next one. Mikal Bridges joins the New York Knicks. The Knicks receive Mikal Bridges, Keita Bates-Diop, 2026 second-round pick, and draft rights to Juan Pablo Valnet. I don't even know who that is, I'll be honest with you. The Nets receive Bojan Bogdanovic. I can't even pronounce this other guy's name. Madiaki. I haven't even pronounced that.
Mm-hmm.
Shake Milton. And then what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah,
7 first-round picks. 7 first-round picks. I'm going to be honest, Jay. I think they gave up a little bit much, giving up 7 first-round picks. But I also think at the same time, in the same breath, like, you know, two things can be true at the same time. Like you gave up too much, but it's also at the same time kind of still worth it because you added so much depth to this team. I mean, especially on the defensive end. Like we were talking earlier about the 76ers, right? How they have 3 elite wings now. The Knicks have now 4 elite wings: Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, Bridges, and Anunoby. Like I just think Mikal like kind of fits this team perfectly as far as like a fit wise. The Knicks won't have to change a thing of what they got going on. Like all they're doing is just adding his talent to what they already had going on. If you want to add him in as a role player and just be catch and shoot, okay, cool. You can do that. He did that when he was on the Suns, and he was, in my opinion, the best role player when he was on the Suns in the entire league. Or if you want to say maybe Jalen Brunson's out, maybe the offense is running dry, Mikal, we need you to take up a little bit ownership of the offense to go get a bucket on your own. He can do that as well. Chemistry is going to be off the charts. I think chemistry really matters. Like Jay, like we both play basketball. We know, like if you're playing with your homie, bro, if you're playing with somebody you're tight with, like off the court, like it just like you want to, you know, help on defense more. You want to, you know what I'm saying, make sure your homie's good. Like you're gonna pick him up. Like you're just gonna feel better about playing with your friends. And you're bringing in freaking teammates who won a national championship together, who had that lifetime experience together. That's great. I think defense is really where its impact is going to be felt. And then last thing I'll add to that, the Knicks also returned OG Anunoby, 5-year, 210 deal. OG got to the bag, like $42 million a year. Crazy. A bit of overpay, but again, you need to make sure he returns because he unlocks the Knicks to a different level. So that's what I'm feeling with that.
Yeah. I pretty much I co-sign pretty much everything that you said. This is not a path I would have chosen. However, this almost in the same mold of what Boston just did. Like, they are well-rounded. And this, Mikal Bridges is the body that gets to play 40 minutes and then ease up the option, the burden. The Josh Hart's 40 full games that dude was playing, DiVincenzo, they were all playing too many minutes. And when you add Bridges into this, it relieves all the pressure. So now everybody else is going to be optimal, right? And I think that they're still going to be a little short on shot creation behind Jalen Brunson, and I think they're going to miss Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, to me, the next move is to trade Julius Randle and his 20, 29, 30 million that I was talking about earlier, and I'd trade him for a backup point guard and a backup center, or even somebody to put in front of Mitchell Robinson. You do that. I don't know if it's Tyus Jones. I think I'd like somebody who plays a little bit more like Jalen Brunson, like a low budget version of him, because he does a lot, dude.
He does a lot, bro. He does a lot, bro.
He does a lot.
Jay,
and I'd like
to ask you something real quick. It's not crazy to say that Jalen Brunson could have been at least in MVP conversations last year, right?
I agree, but I don't want him. I don't want him to be in the MVP conversation. I'd rather you save that juice. So you're hitting turbo when the playoffs start. You're gonna get your max extension. That's not the question. I'd ask you, since it's Nova Knicks and we did this trade for you, would you hold it down and take $5-10 million a year less and just keep this thing going? But aside from that, they need to they need to be aggressive using Julius Randle to round out the roster. You have your dudes. These Nova Knicks should be able to match up with Boston perfectly. And I like it. Again, to be clear, they spent their entire credit card, and they do have a chance to win the title. I do believe that they could just be last man standing, war of attrition, come out of the East, and back their way into a championship. I don't think it's likely, and I would have probably chosen a different path. But the Nova Knicks is a thing now, and since you're all the way in, wouldn't bet. Be in and make it. And Julius Randle's the one. I like Deuce McBride. I like Mitchell Robinson. I like what these guys do for them. I just want to hedge my bet. One more guard off the bench to some games he might not even play. I don't even know who that is, but that and replace Hartenstein.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, the thing about Hartenstein leaving, and I think you kind of touched on this, is the fact that now that puts a lot of pressure on Mitch Rob to stay healthy when he struggled with that his entire
and I don't want no
career.
Part of that. He's injury prone. I don't even want no part of that. I'd rather just get another $10 million center.
Absolutely.
And replace what Isaiah Hartenstein was doing so you can keep it pushing. Actually, quietly kept, Jericho Sims is a body, dude.
Jericho Sims is so nice. Jericho Sims, okay.
He's an animal.
I won't say he's so nice, but I think for what he can do, pick and roll and just throw it up to him. He reminds me of a young JaVale. He reminds me of a young JaVale.
Yeah. Actually, I'll give you that. And he's pound for pound, dude is an animal. He's he's a freak, man. He's a freak. So I don't know. He might be. I don't know if he's got the instincts and the IQ to fit with what Tom Thibodeau. Because if he did, he had already been part of the fixture. But we'll see.
We will see, Jay. We will see. Jay, moving on to the last trade here for us to get into. That is the Pelicans. They land DeJounte Murray. Want to get into this with you, man. This was between the Pelicans and the Hawks. The Hawks got Dyson Daniels, LJ Liddon, Larry Nance Jr., Cody Zeller, and 2 first-round picks, one coming from the Lakers, and then the Pelicans got DeJounte Murray. Now, I'm going to be honest, Jay. I don't have too much to say on this on the Pelican side of things because on the Hawks side of things, because like I'm gonna be honest, Jay, like I'm not too sure what the Hawks are doing. Like I don't know. Maybe if you have some insight for me, please fill me in. I don't know what the Hawks are doing, but as far as the Pelicans, I have a feeling they're not done yet. Like I have a feeling that they still got some more pieces coming here. Where I know we hear Brandon Ingram's name in rumors like every other day of him going to all these other teams. But even if they decided not to do anything, like on paper, Jay, this team looks pretty damn good. You got DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado, and all they would really need back is a big because they lost Jonas Valanciunas, which is a really slept on big. But I mean, on paper, dude, like this team looks good. But I still think they have more moves to do because there's no way you go into the season with a roster like this. I think you need a big besides Zion.
Yeah. I mean, I agree 1000%. I think not only do they need to make a Brandon Ingram move, they also need to make a CJ McCollum move.
Okay.
That's $69 million between the two of them. Mm-hmm. And if it was up to me, like in a vacuum, pound for pound, I like the DeJounte Murray deal. It's one of those things where it's like you make the trade, that's the trade offer, take it, figure it out later, right? So from that standpoint, I like the trade. I like him and Zion. Like to me, the fixtures are DeJounte, Zion to a point. That's a separate conversation. And then Trey Murphy. Like to me, that's if I'm David Griffin, that's what I'm rocking with. That's what I'm trying to build a team around. Trey Murphy, like the reason Brandon Ingram has to go is because of Trey Murphy. That dude needs, 35, 40 minutes a game for sure. But you're right. They drafted that rookie is supposed to be like a super defensive guy, damn near inept offensive. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. He's Missy.
I don't know.
Yeah, so they got him around the time the Heat got Khalil Ware. But long story short, he's not going to be ready, right? So even if he turns into like a Jared Allen type of player, that's years away, dude. Mm-hmm. So what are you doing? So to me, I'd like to see a little bit more of a playmaker. I'd like to see a big man. The problem is it's like this whole thing of musical chairs, and Brandon Ingram don't have a suitor no more.
Yeah.
So. Like I went down the list. I've been on him for I thought it was going to be Cleveland when they knew Donovan Mitchell was out the door. Then Brandon Ingram would have fit, but there's just not a lot of options for him. So they might have to wait until the trade deadline before something materializes. One of these situations needs to go sideways. The problem is don't nobody want to give him $200 million.
Yeah.
Then that's what he wants. So.
Man, this was a great episode, Jake. This was a great episode. Man, we got into everything, man. We got into free agency, we got into trade deadline. We got into free agency, we got into trades, we got into all that. Talked a little bit about some predictions or whatnot. But man, Jay, I think it's a good place for us to go ahead and wrap it up. Is there any final thoughts that you want to tell the world out there before we skedaddle out of here?
No, man. I appreciate the followers and the banter on Twitter. So if you got beef with anything I said, just want to shoot it back and forth. As long as they're qualified takes, everybody's got an opinion, and I love to shoot it back and forth. So, but about to head to Vegas and watch some of these up close and personal. I want to see some Reed Shepherd, some Alex Sar, or however you pronounce his name, and I want to see who's going to be the dude in the teens who comes out of the woodwork, the Donovan Mitchells, the Devin Bookers, the Kawhi Leonards, like all those dudes went in like from 10 to 15, 20, so I'm excited for it. So
absolutely, man. For the family out there, if you stay tuned through the whole show, just know you're a real one. And also, just know that we got great content coming up here, man, for the off season. Like I said in the beginning, make sure to follow Jay. Things will be in the description down below. Follow our Instagram, TikTok. All that is at Clutch Talk Pod. Subscribe to join the family. And for now, we out of here, y'all. Deuces.